My, that's a big one, isn't it? Hello everybody, it's Zorkatone here, aka the Other Apprentice, and welcome to today's video where we are going to be unveiling yet another Disney-themed Lego set. Only this time, it's on a bit more of a grander scale, because today, one of my dreams has come true. I have received in the mail, by means of early access by being a LEGO VIP member, although by the time this video goes up it probably won't matter, I have received the LEGO Disney Cinderella Castle playset. And isn't this gorgeous? And the box itself is heavier than it looks, believe me. Now this set is allegedly to scale. It is about 48 centimeters wide and 74 centimeters tall. So I imagine by the time this baby is all built, it'll make the perfect centerpiece for my own LEGO Disney park. Oh, and speaking of which, what am I still doing standing around here for? Come on, let's get this castle into the park! Well, here we are. Anybody remember this? Yeah, it's gone through several changes since we last saw it, and don't get me wrong, the LEGO Disney Princess sets are nice, but the Cinderella Castle isn't quite what I would be able to call a centerpiece to the entire thing. But thankfully, that is about to change. Now all I gotta do is clear everything off to make some room to build it. Okay, well, now that that's all cleared out of the way, wow, I think this is the first time in like 3 years I've actually seen this dining room table all clear. Hoo-wee! There she goes. Well, that's certainly a lot, but something tells me I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. After all, it can't be... Wait, how many pieces does this thing have? Pieces. Well, I guess I better start building. This is gonna take a while. Don't worry. I won't force you to watch hours and hours of me building this thing. I'll see you when all this is done, okay? Alright, let's get to work. You hear that, Samson? Beautiful. Ta-da! Here it is in its full constructed glory. Doesn't it look absolutely breathtaking? Voila! As you can see, this thing is not only beautiful, but it is also massive. I mean, if the size comparison here doesn't give you any idea as to how tall this baby really is, I don't know what will. I mean, this thing is gorgeous, and it is allegedly to scale. The entire time that it took me to build this was around and about 18 hours, so not my best, but that is spanning through a few weeks. I didn't have as much time to build this thing as much as I had hoped when I first got it, but it is now completed, and I absolutely love the way it looks. I mean, time well spent, if you ask me. It wasn't only the outside that required a lot of work, but the inside as well. I think, of course, they did take a few liberties as to what rooms to include, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But just as a quick glance from out here, very nicely detailed, especially on each floor. Really, I can't tell you which floor is more detailed than the next. You can really see that they wanted this thing to look good from all angles, and look good it does. It looks great. The little 8-year-old inside of me is crying right now because I've wanted something like this ever since I was a kid, and now it's here, and it's so much better than I thought it would be. But enough of my sentimental jibber jabber. Let's get into some of the little tiny details of what makes this set so great. So, like any visit, why don't we just take a moment to appreciate the entrance of the whole thing, shall we? Now, if you're looking at this from a minifigure's point of view, you'd just be walking along here and then, oh, look at that. We've got some lovely designs on the rails and the lanterns. And then if we look up in awe, there's the plaque, a lovely balcony, and that's all one piece. This right here, all one piece, if you can believe it. Then we look up, then there's the clock, and as you can see, oh, we're almost at 5 minutes to midnight. Better hurry home if you're expecting your carriage to turn back into a pumpkin. And then, even from this angle up here, this thing is so very majestic, and it is very, very reminiscent to what you might look like if you were actually in Disney World and looking up at the grandeur of the whole thing as you walk through the doors. But as we're walking around this whole thing, why don't we just take a small moment to appreciate the fact that these walls and towers here, as you can probably imagine, the instruction manual was probably just a little, well, actually very, very repetitive. I mean, you would have to go back and do something similar to this, like maybe 3 times over. But in the end, it was very, very worth it. I mean, there are a lot of little bits and pieces here that you wouldn't be able to see from the outside. But you know what? Whatever makes it look better, and honestly, all of that hard work and the blisters on my fingers totally paid off. Some of these brickwork, this brickwork here is not actually brickwork, it's just stickers, but there are a fair amount of stickers going on here, including the little plaque here, but I'm so glad they let them. It's just a perfect touch. Coat of arms and everything, it's just gorgeous. I don't see that kind of attention to detail in modular sets these days. Now over here, we'll get to some of the things that I love about this set in just a minute when we get into the interiors, but over here, there are going to be little homages to certain franchises throughout this entire castle. So, if you haven't guessed it by now, it's supposed to be Tiana and Naveen sharing a little smooch on the lily pads and the crown just behind them. And then, oh look, who's that ready to welcome us in? Then Mickey Mouse himself. Come on in, everybody! Haha! Okay, so why don't we do that? Okay, so, a lot of the detail really, really shines through in some of the interiors here. I mean, just look at this lovely mosaic tile floor, and the chandelier, of course. And throughout this main atrium, we also have a grandfather clock, and then this lovely little floral arrangement, no doubt courtesy of Minnie. In case that little speed build didn't give it away, this set does come with 5 minifigures.
First off is Mickey, looking rather dapper in his usual parks attire. His little tail coat here is a felt piece that does go just over the legs here, and he looks really great. Side by side with the collectible minifigures version, it doesn't look that too different aside from the fact that he's got his jacket and his pants are obviously longer and the bow tie and everything like that. Moving on to Minnie, we have her in her classic red dress and polka dots, which is, in case any of you were wondering what the difference was between the collectible version, again, this one is pink, and while it does have the polka dots, I believe this look is the outfit that's, whenever we think of Minnie Mouse, this is the outfit that always pops into our head. So I think, no offense to this version, but I think I prefer this minifigure over the collectible one. The same thing goes with the Mickey. We've also got I believe this Donald Duck is pretty much the same as the other one. I mean, there's not really much of a difference. Yeah, no, it's essentially it's the same thing. But he still looks great. I mean, it's Donald. How can he not look great? And then moving on to Donald's sweetheart, we have Daisy in her pink dress. And now this Daisy is not too different from the collectible one that we got. As you can see, it's just a matter of coloring, and she's got her blouse here. It's a very light purple and such. And then finally, to come with this set, we have a new figure that has not been previously introduced in any other LEGO medium, at least not to my knowledge. We have Tinkerbell. And now, I'm really glad that they included Tinkerbell, because I've got the collectible Peter Pan and Captain Hook minifigures here, so the fact that they included a Tinkerbell in here was the absolute perfect addition to these two. Her little skirt is a felt piece that you would put, again, underneath the torso and the legs. She does come with these blue translucent wings and a green wand that we have not actually seen, but she does have a wand. It just doesn't look like that. But the hair piece is, of course, completely new, and I'm pretty sure, well, everything about this is completely new. I mean, I think if there was any other character that I would rather probably see with the set, it would probably be Goofy, but I think they might save that for another wave of the collectible minifigures, if at all. But I'm glad that they included Tink, because honestly, I think there's something about Tink that embodies the Disney parks. So bravo to them for including this wonderful pixie with the rest of these minifigures here. And as you can probably tell, I have already taken the liberty of adding the rest of the collectible minifigures in with this lovely castle. They've all moved in, they've all made themselves perfectly at home. And not just these ones either. My other custom Disney figures have also made themselves at home. But just for the sake of this little review, we'll just keep things strictly official. Okay? Alright, moving on to the rest of the interiors. Aside from these fine-looking suits of armor and torches, you'll notice that over here we have the Aladdin room. Remember how I said that certain rooms would be representing certain franchises? Mainly princesses, but there are always a few surprises here and there. The set does not come with Aladdin and Genie, just reiterating, but it does come with a little lamp and a magic carpet. I believe that's the second magic carpet that we've gotten in all of LEGO-dom. Moving over to the other side of this ground floor in the castle, we have a room that's decorated with all these lovely shields. And I've just got Mr. Incredible and Syndrome in there just because when I think shields, I think power. And when I think power, I think superheroes and supervillains. But just taking another moment to briefly go over the detail of the bottom floor here. I mean, isn't that great? Especially when it comes to the floor. I love the floor. You'll never hear me say that anymore. I love the floor. The end. Moving on up to the other floors. This is the second floor, I guess. Right off the bat, we have this lovely little room, hallway, I guess, or room, whichever you prefer. That is paying tribute to Beauty and the Beast. We've got a candelabra here, which is obviously supposed to represent Lumiere, and a rose in a glass dome here, which, of course, the Enchanted Rose. There is an actual Lego Beauty and the Beast set out right now, but that's reserved for the Lego Disney Princess line, and a few things are a little bit different there. But moving on, over here we have this lovely little kitchen that I believe, according to the instruction book, is supposed to be an amalgamation of Cinderella's kitchen and Chef Louis's kitchen from The Little Mermaid. Here's where a lot of fun little props come into play. You've got a barrel full of food, so carrots and sausages. Back here is a little stove with this great little pot back there. The broom, a cauldron, and some cutlery with a knife and a cleaver here. Nice touch. A golden goblet with another goblet and some fine selections of fine wine. And down here is some storage for more pots and pans and other cutlery. And then over here we have, I guess this is where the Cinderella all comes into play. This is a pumpkin, in case you couldn't tell. And yes, it is a jack-o'-lantern piece, but turn it around and we'll just forget that we ever saw that, okay? Okay. All right. Keep away, Headless Horseman. And then over here, to this part of the castle, is a secret compartment, where if we just lift this up, here lies within the got into the woods on the brain, a Cinderella's glass slipper in here. I don't know if you can see that. In a glass case. And we've also got a little storybook, which has some, it's a new way of representing Lego books, which I love. This part does open, and inside is a, don't know if you can see that, reads Once Upon a Time, which is very nice. I actually prefer the way that they did the book in this format as opposed to the regular way they do books, which is just a bendy piece of plastic. I mean, they look nice and all, but one of these days, that book is gonna snap, and then where will you be? But that's essentially the secret compartment right there. But, shh, don't tell anybody. It's a secret, okay? Alright, good. Just before we head on to the next floor, this kind of counts as exterior, but not really. If you'll look in here, if my camera will decide to focus or not, we have a little setup here that's just outside of everything and almost to the balcony that's dedicated to Brave. We've got Merida's bow and arrow, as well as the a queef, I believe it is, and with some cakes and a target. Now, moving up to the next floor of the interior is quite possibly my favorite room for obvious reasons. A room dedicated to the Sorcerer's Apprentice sequence from Fantasia. Now, in here we've got a chest with a magic book. It's the old version of the Lego books, unfortunately. As well as a couple of buckets and some brooms. Well, okay, technically, in Lego lore, these are actually mops, but seeing how this is what Lego brooms currently look like, I'll let that slide for now. And then finally, we have the mystic hat of the great Yen Sid himself. This is not the first time we've seen this hat. There is a collectible minifigure sorcerer that does have that hat that does look scarily similar to the Sorcerer's Apprentice, but if only there was a way to put this on the Mickey figure. I mean, maybe there is, I've just yet to figure out how. But, okay, let's just put that back where nobody will get any funny ideas. There we go. You brooms stay inanimate. We'll work that spell later. Moving on, speaking of magical things, we have the magical cursed spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty. And Maleficent is hoping that someone will come along and prick their finger on it. If you ask me, I think Sleeping Beauty should probably invest in a sewing machine, don't you think? I mean, these are just too easy to prick your finger on. Ow. We have seen Lego spinning wheel in the actual Sleeping Beauty Lego Disney Princess set. I'm sorry if this keeps on going blurry. This lens does not like me. Moving on up, we have, well, you can't have the Cinderella Castle without having the master bedroom suite now, can you? I gotta say, the way that the bed is designed is absolutely beautiful. But I do have just one tiny little complaint. Let me explain. You see, I don't know if this was intentional or if this was a mistake that the LEGO engineers kind of looked over or didn't really notice. But you'll notice the room itself comes with the curtains and everything, but if you were to actually put a minifigure down on here, I'll use Mr. Incredible, seeing how he's probably the most basic out of everybody. If you were to put a minifigure down there, he doesn't actually fit entirely on the bed. I mean, I don't know if that's just the bed's too short or Mr. Incredible's too fat or whatever. Most likely the latter. But he doesn't actually fit an entire minifigure, and it looks kind of weird. I mean, I guess if you had a smaller minifigure, I'll use Red Riding Hood as an example. Like, if you put her there, then yeah, sure, okay, then she fits just fine. But other ones, not so much, which is just a wee bit disappointing. The basic mechanics of, I mean, that looks like a bed. Other LEGO beds that we've seen don't look too great. But when it comes to a master-sized bed like this, then obviously the details look great. Size, room for improvement. Well, actually, no room for improvement. But no, it's okay. I'm glad that it looks great. It's just not entirely practically sized for your comfort and staying needs. I'm gonna have to talk to the manager about that. Moving on, we have this tiny little room that is dedicated to Tangled. We open up the chest. We've got hairbrush in there. We've got scissors, and then we've got. I think that's a ponytail in there. I don't actually know what that's supposed to be, and I feel kind of sheepish for not knowing that. But if anybody knows what that is, please do tell me. This room, however, is also. It does also house the quote-unquote fireworks launcher. Here they are. You just where is it? Just push that there and whoo! There it goes. I probably won't be able to find that later. But in case you didn't see that, let's just try that again. Boom! And I'm not going to be able to find that later. But it does come with two more, which I have safely stashed in here. So just in case I can't find those other two, I'll have those two as a backup. Very smart thinking, LEGO. Very smart. Just one more floor. We have a room dedicated to the fairest of them all, Snow White. We have a lovely little magic mirror here, which does have a reflective sticker on it, as well as a fruit bowl with a poisoned apple, no doubt. Don't touch the fruit! But it's, like I said, I'm not expecting these rooms to be, uber roomy or anything. I mean, we can't have the same kind of roominess that we did in the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I mean, that was amazing. But here, it's nice. They're small, yet they don't feel all that confined, despite some of the props taking up most of the room. And like I said, the props are really nice homages, and so I really don't mind having the space taken away from such gorgeously thought of accessories here. And then up here, I don't really know if this is supposed to be a watchtower, but as you can see, the very top of the room is just kind of reserved for anyone that you want to put in there, I guess. Then, here we go. Now here, like I said, this looks uber complicated, but I tell you, it's not actually, because this spire here, it looks gorgeous, and the studs really give it that golden, majestic feel that it needs, but it's actually really simple, and despite the repetitive instruction, it does exactly what it needs to, and this is probably one of my favorite things about the exterior. Okay, so why don't we talk about some of the cons of this set. Now, like I said, I don't want to complain too much, and I don't really have that many, aside from the little bed here. But there is one concern that is rather major, and I must point out to anyone that might be letting their kids play with this. This set comes in sections. So obviously you have the base along here, and then you have the main floor, and that's all fine, that's all structurally sound. What my problem is that this section here is removable. The way of securing it is not that great. As you can see, it's, just a few little gray pieces here and there. And that kind of makes me worry. One false move and this whole thing right here comes toppling down. Now the top tower does, you see what I mean. The top tower does also come off. You just simply slide it out, and yes, that will happen. When it comes to something this intricate and this delicate, you wouldn't want them knocking this accidentally and then just, and then, oh my gosh, all my hard work, and I'm sorry, Mommy or Daddy. You wouldn't want that kind of scene. So, my advice is, if you're gonna let your little ones play with this, please do separate the sections first. I know, where's the fun in that? But better safe than sorry, right? Of course, I can't imagine anyone over the age of 16, well, aside from me, of course, that might play with this like a dollhouse. But if you are playing with this, then please do be careful. Don't let my word of warning be the voice of doom and gloom either. Like, the playability on this is very, very good. The playability is definitely worth a 5-star rating. It's just considering how much time and effort you put into this. I really wouldn't want anyone to be mad that it toppled over. I almost had that problem today, believe it or not. Now, one question I have gotten so far, and it's probably one that makes the most sense to be asked, if I'm perfectly honest, is this set worth the money? Well, I'm probably not the right person to ask that, because obviously, being the big biased fan that I am, I'm obviously going to say yes. Another question that some people may be asking is, how does this compare to the Lego Disney Princess set of Cinderella's Castle? Well, if I'm perfectly honest, there is no competition. Just to give you a little bit of a size comparison between the two, yes, I did buy both. This is the Lego Disney Princess version, which is, it's nice and it's cute, but it's a little bit of a smaller scale, and it's not as detailed. You've got the same kind of structure going here. I think they were probably going for the Disney Parks version, because Cinderella's Castle does not look like that in the movie. But, you flip it around and it's still got the same kind of interior idea. You've got a bedroom here, which actually can fit an entire minifigure on the bed, just saying. And then, you've got the rooms here, and chests, and secret compartments, and for some reason there's a bathroom in here. I don't really know why, because, when you think Lego Disney Princess, you think bathrooms and interior designing. Yay. It doesn't make any sense to me either. You definitely get your bang for your buck here, or your bang for your brick here, in this case. But, if mothers, if you're watching, if you're looking for something for your little girl to play with, I'd say definitely go with this. But if they're a little bit older and certainly appreciate the grandeur and gravitas of the Disney parks, then I'd say definitely go for this, because this, I promise you, is worth every penny. In conclusion, when it comes to the price, I'd say it's totally worth it. This is currently going for, I think, at least, well, when I got it, it was around $300. And, there have been more expensive Lego sets out there. So, this is actually pretty much worth the price. The build can get a little repetitive, but that's only because, as you can see, there are so many fine, intricate details that apply to the same kind of construction as other pieces here, whether it's just the little details going along the bottoms of the towers or the towers themselves. The instructions will get repetitive. As a matter of fact, the instructions are about yay thick. It is all in one booklet, thank goodness. And the individual pieces came in about 14 bags, plus the tiny little ones for the little itty bitty pieces to come inside. But Yeah, the booklet's about, oh well, not counting these bits, it's about, 491 pages. And when you see it all like this, I mean, it's kind of worth it. And plus there are some lovely commemorative letters and summaries and excuse me, they even have the little autographs underneath the minifigures, which I think personally, that's, as a Parks fan, that's a nice touch. Very nice touch. And then of course it lists off how many different things are what's supposed to be what and paying homage to which film, which is great. Personal rating, I definitely give it 5 out of 5 stars. Just because I've wanted this for so long, and now it's here, and it's, like I said, it's so much better than I could have imagined, and I am so glad that they have decided to release this. If they have any more Disney-related products coming out, I would honestly love to see them. More minifigures, more sets based on either park recreations or film scene recreations, whichever. I'm all for it, and I really, really hope they do more. Please, please. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my rather long and lengthy, very, very wordy review of this absolutely beautiful Lego Disney Cinderella Castle set. Let me know if you'd want to buy it, or if you have any questions as to the set itself in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any comments, questions, concerns, or confessions that you may have. Please do give this video a like if you liked it, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel for more reviews and other surprises such as this. And until then, why don't we put the rest of the park together around this wonderful centerpiece?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lego Disneyland. Well, I guess I can't quite call it Disneyland if Cinderella's castle is going to be the centerpiece. And it's not quite the Magic Kingdom either. I know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lego Disney Kingdom. To twist the words of a wise man, this kingdom will never be complete so long as Lego continues to release great products, particularly Disney ones, or until I run out of room, whichever comes first. Thank you so very much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I am Sorcerers Apprentice, the other apprentice, and I'll be seeing you real soon.